Here's a question that might make you uncomfortable. If you work for 40 years and you earn a decent salary your entire life, let's say the average American income, how much wealth do you end up with by retirement? Most people guess big numbers, $1 million, maybe more. But here's the painful reality. The median American household approaching retirement has less than $90,000 saved. That's 40 years of work, 40 years of paychecks, and barely enough to cover 2 or 3 years of living expenses. So what's happening? Is it that people don't earn enough? Is it bad luck? Or is it something much deeper, a pattern of thinking and behavior that most people never even realize they have? Spoiler, it's that last one, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. We grow up with a very simple story about money. Work hard, earn money, spend it on things you need and things you enjoy, and everything will be fine. It's the script handed to most of us, by our parents, our schools, and honestly by the entire economy around us. But here's the problem with that script. It has a massive, hidden flaw. It treats money as something you earn and then use, not something you grow, not something you deploy, just something that flows in and flows right back out. And most people follow that script for their entire adult lives. They get raises, they upgrade their lifestyle, they work harder and earn more, and somehow they still end up in the same place, living paycheck to paycheck or very close to it, wondering why wealth always feels just out of reach. This isn't just a behavior problem, it's a psychology problem. And to understand it, we need to look at what's actually going on inside the human brain when it encounters money. Let's start with a concept called lifestyle inflation. The moment most people earn more money, they spend more money. It happens almost automatically. You get a raise, you move into a nicer apartment. You land a promotion, you buy a newer car. Your income goes up, but so does your spending. And your savings, they stay roughly the same. Economists call this the hedonic treadmill. You earn more, you want more, you spend more, and you end up feeling exactly as financially stressed as you did before. The treadmill keeps moving, but you never get anywhere. But lifestyle inflation is just one piece of the puzzle. The second problem is even more powerful, and it has to do with how our brains are wired to think about time. Humans are notoriously bad at thinking about the future. We know this from psychology research. It's called hyperbolic discounting. It basically means we massively overvalue things in the present and massively undervalue things in the future. $100 today feels so much more than $100 5 years from now, even though logically you know that's irrational. Think about how this plays out in real life. You're standing in a store, eyeing something you want but don't need. In your mind, the pleasure of buying it right now feels enormous and immediate, but saving that money, that payoff is abstract, far away, invisible. Your brain barely registers it. So you buy the thing. Of course you do. Your brain is wired to. Now multiply that moment by thousands of small decisions over years and decades. That's the real reason most people never build wealth. It's not one big mistake. It's thousands of tiny, psychologically predictable choices that quietly drain the future. There's a third force at play too, and this one is maybe the most insidious: social comparison. We are social creatures. We evolved in small groups where status mattered for survival, and today that deeply wired need for status gets hijacked by consumer culture. You're not just buying a car, you're buying a signal to your neighbors about who you are. You're not just going on vacation, you're posting about it, showing the world that you're someone who lives a certain kind of life. The money you spend on status signals often isn't about what you actually want, it's about managing what other people think of you. And here's the dark irony. Most of the people you're trying to impress are barely paying attention. They're too busy managing their own financial anxiety to notice your car or your kitchen renovation. You're spending real money to solve an imaginary social problem. So let's zoom out and look at what wealth actually is, because most people have this completely backward. Most people think wealth is visible: a big house, expensive clothes, a luxury car in the driveway. But here's the thing, those are signs of spending. The person driving the flashy car might have almost nothing in savings. The person in the modest house down the street might be quietly accumulating serious money. True wealth is invisible.
It's the money you don't spend. It's assets quietly growing in the background. It's options, the freedom to make choices that most people can't because most people are trapped by their expenses. There's a concept in finance called the gap, the difference between what you earn and what you spend. Every dollar in that gap is a dollar that gets to work for you. And when that dollar earns a return, whether through investments, a business, or anything else, it starts to produce more dollars. Those dollars produce more dollars. Over time, compounding turns small gaps into enormous wealth. Here's a simple example. Let's say two people earn the same salary, $60,000 a year. Person A saves $200 a month, person B saves $800 a month. Both invest that money in a simple index fund averaging 8% annual returns. After 30 years, person A has around $272,000. Person B has over $1 million. Same income, very different gap, completely different financial life. But here's the deeper insight. The people who actually build wealth aren't just saving more. They've changed their relationship with money entirely. They stopped seeing money as something to enjoy by spending it and started seeing it as something that buys freedom. There's a powerful mindset shift that happens in people who accumulate wealth. Instead of asking, "What can I buy with this money?" they ask, "What can this money do for me over the next 10 years?" That's not deprivation, that's delayed gratification as a strategy, and it changes everything. So what do you actually do with all of this? Let's make it concrete. First, make the gap automatic. Don't rely on willpower. Willpower runs out. Set up automatic transfers so that the moment your paycheck arrives, a portion goes directly into savings or investments before you ever see it, before you ever touch it. This is called paying yourself first. It works because it removes the psychological battle entirely. Second, audit your spending for status, not just value. The next time you're about to make a large purchase, ask yourself honestly, am I buying this because I genuinely want it and it improves my life, or am I buying it because of how it will look to others? There's no judgment here, just awareness. Awareness is the first step to breaking the pattern. Third, fight lifestyle inflation deliberately. When your income increases, make a rule for yourself. Let's say for every extra dollar you earn, half goes towards upgrading your life and half goes towards growing your gap. You still get to enjoy more, but future you also gets a seat at the table. Fourth, start thinking in decades, not months. Most financial decisions look terrible in the short term and brilliant in the long term. Investing feels like nothing in year 1. It feels like magic in year 20. Your brain will always undervalue the future, so you have to consciously correct for that. Write it down, visualize future you, make the future feel real. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Most people never build wealth, not because they don't earn enough, not because the system is rigged against them, but because nobody ever taught them to see money differently. They follow a script written by an economy that profits when you spend, not when you save. But you now know what most people don't. Wealth is not about how much you earn. It's about the gap between what you earn and what you keep. It's about resisting the psychology that's been designed, quite deliberately, to make you spend more than you should. Think about it this way. Every time you choose the gap over the purchase, you're not missing out. You're buying something money can't easily be spent on. Options, freedom, security, the ability to say no to things you don't want and yes to things you do. Wealth doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen because you got lucky. It happens because someone at some point decided to understand how money really works and then acted accordingly. That someone can be you.